What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Alright, so if you've been keeping an eye on the headlines coming out of Las Vegas, you already know the long-awaited trial for Dwayne Davis, better known as Keefe D, is officially underway. But if you're looking for explosive courtroom fireworks right this second, you might have to hit pause. Right now, it's all about the groundwork. The first week is strictly dedicated to dragging through the tedious process of jury selection. Judge Carly Kearney and the legal teams are sifting through pool after pool of potential jurors, trying to find people who can actually remain impartial in a case that carries this much cultural weight. Translation: it's slow moving, it's quiet, and there's nothing major happening on the record just yet. But while the courtroom is tied up picking jurors, we aren't just sitting around waiting, because when you look past the opening arguments and dive into the actual documents, the real story of how this trial is going to play out is written in the names on the witness list. And let me tell you, some of these names on the state's potential roster are heavy. From former security heads to music industry heavyweights and figures from the heart of the West Coast history we all know too well. This list is a roadmap of the entire era. So while the lawyers spend these next few days getting a jury seated, let's go ahead and break down some of the most critical names scheduled to take that stand, what they bring to the table, and why everyone is watching. Before we jump into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below on how you think this trial is going to shake out, and let's get right into it. The 200 name witness list. The legal proceedings surrounding the 1996 case involving Tupac continue to attract attention from people interested in hip-hop history and the events surrounding that era. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis is the defendant in the case, and a large number of names have been associated with the proceedings and the broader history surrounding the investigation. The names on the list. The reported list includes people connected to the music industry, Tupac's family, law enforcement, and other individuals associated with the history of the case. Among the names mentioned are Marion Suge Knight.
Summarize. You are saying Orlando was not the shooter, although you won't say who the shooter was. You are not saying whether Keefe was involved in any way in the shooting. And you are saying that if you're called to testify by either side, you will not comply, you will not testify. Do I have that right?
1,000%. I wouldn't go, I wouldn't testify, none of that.
Mopreem Shakur.
Puffy called me back in the day. He called me, he was like, I just want you to know I ain't have nothing to do with your brothers. You know, I know who you are, but we never met. And I just want to call you man to man, let you know that I ain't have nothing to do with your brother's death. It was in the early 2000s. LA Times had just dropped an article in the newspaper implicating him as well. I told him I appreciate the call, but the truth is yet to come out, so we gonna see.
Katari Cox.
My belief is that justice has been foregone years ago. The night my cousin was murdered, should have been an intense investigation at that time.
Other names connected to the discussion include Reggie Wright Jr.
One question. Why did you kill Tupac?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that that's the new theme, man. It really is. I thought we had got away from that, especially once Keefe D had got arrested, even though he had been making his promo tour, talking about it on your channel and in his book and BET Chronicles and other people platforms. And then he gets there, and now he goes to jail, and he, got to pass the buck. You remember that show, The Practice? They used to call The Practice, with, and they used to have the Plan B, and they say, hey, when your suspect is done, we got to throw it on the best witness and accuse him. And so.
Well, right, because Keefe actually did a few interviews with some news channels recently, and in those interviews, he's basically saying that you're the one who killed Tupac.
Yeah, he just said that. No, a lot of people say he's been saying that. They say, if I get in handcuffs, Reggie Wright need to be in the handcuffs.
Right, he said it on my interview.
Okay. Yeah. But he actually was talking about Biggie Small. He wasn't talking about Tupac when he was making that.
Oh, right.
He was saying, if I could go to jail for Tupac, Reggie and them need to be going to jail for Biggie Small.
Right.
Is what he was really referring to.
Kirk Burrows.
Who shot you? What's that about Tupac?
All right, let me put this to you like this. We knew what we were involved in. I knew, Sean knew. The artist might not have known everything that was going on. Who shot you could mean a few different things for a few different people. But what it meant ultimately was what it was ultimately meant to mean. And it landed perfectly. C's and them might not think it was supposed to be for that. Biggie might not have thought that when he wrote the lyrics that it was going to be used for that. But the way it was marketed by the company and released in the succession of things that were going on that we were dealing with on all the levels that we were dealing, that record did what it was supposed to do.
Burroughs, he also said that, he feels like, Diddy was behind Pac murder.
Yeah. If Diddy played a part in that stuff, like he said, Kirk know where the money came from. I'm going to say this. They tried to, if you talk about the Vegas trip and the whole 9 yards, Kirk said that he paid for people to drive out to Vegas. I was heavily with Bad Boy at that time. I don't remember that part of it. You understand? I don't remember that part of it. But if Kirk knew and he was paying for people to drive out to Vegas in the whole 9 yards, it's hard to hide $1 million, brother.
The list also contains names associated with law enforcement and public service, including Manning.
The victim's vehicle was 2 to 3 vehicles back from the intersection. The Cadillac pulled up immediately beside them, stopped, and opened fire. It amazes me that when we have professional bodyguards as part of this entourage, that they can't even give us an accurate description of the vehicle.
Katie.
When we sat down with Keefe D, myself, the FBI, Keefe D's lawyer, we sat down under what's known as a proffer agreement, and he divulged all of the details about what took place in Las Vegas the night Tupac was shot. At that point in time, we're just going through the investigative, kind of investigative process until I retired, and I came to the realization that these crimes, the public is never going to know what we did in this investigation and the information that we attained. And so I took it upon myself to say, listen, and I went and met with Keefe D before I did it, by the way. He knew that I was releasing the information. I went to his house, we sat in my truck, and I said, here's the deal. You're never going to probably get prosecuted on this, but I'm going to expose what you did.
Goodman.
The only time I wanted to know what a client did, I tell them right off the bat, you're saying that on X date, you murdered somebody. I'm not asking whether you murdered somebody or not. All I want to know is, were you in Las Vegas where the murder took place on X date? If you were not, and that forms an alibi, that makes my job much easier because I don't have to worry about where you were.
And Lombardo.
Hey everybody, Governor Lombardo here from the great state of Nevada.
Hello. How you doing, sir? Good. Sergeant Pacheco, Metro Police. The reason I'm stopping you is for the... I'm aware. For the red light violation back there. Your right turn onto Giles here. So you're good to go, sir.
However, there's an important point to understand. Appearing on a witness list does not necessarily mean that a person will testify in court. A legal filing can contain numerous potential witnesses, and the final list of people who actually appear can be much smaller. Foxy Brown. Another name that has attracted attention is Foxy Brown. Her connection to the story comes from an account attributed to Dwayne Keefe D. Davis in his 2019 book, Compton Street Legend. In the book, Davis discussed events and people he said he encountered in Las Vegas during that period. One of the names mentioned in that account was Foxy Brown, along with promoter Eric Zip Martin. That account has subsequently become part of the public discussion surrounding the case.
Foxy Brown, how you feel about the news that broke that, she might testify against Keefe D?
Well, I knew Foxy was out there with Zipner. And the story that I heard is that when Keefe D and them saw Tupac and them, they told Zip and them they was going to go holler at those dudes. Zip and them went one way and Keefe D and them went the other way. And the other way was to where Pac and them was at. I heard that night. I heard the full story when an individual who was out there with them came back to the block and told us. Now, Foxy has been through a lot of shit in this industry. A lot of things, brother. And if people think there's Jaguar right has been damaged in this industry, Foxy is a whole nother problem for them.
According to Keefe D, Zip and some other guys from New York approach him. They say, hey, you know, we got your back on this. You need some help. And Keefe D says, no, got my boys, we'll handle this. He says, but we have no, you know, we don't have any weapons. And Zip says something to the effect of, I can help you out with that. They go out to the car. Zip gives him a Glock, and then they go after, you know, on the hunt.
Okay, was anybody else with Zip at the time?
Yeah, there was several guys from New York that were with him.
Okay, no rappers?
Not. I only know the names of these people, and as far as I know, they were not rappers. There were more guys that were involved in Zip's circle of friends, people from New York, but not rappers that I'm aware of.
Oh, okay, that's fair. In his book, he says a rapper, Foxy Brown, was with him.
Well, she wasn't there during this conversation. When they went out to the car, she was in the car. But during this conversation that took place prior to getting to the car, I don't think she was present. So this conversation between Zip, some other New Yorkers are there, Keefe D, Southsiders, and they all kind of evaluating what just took place with Orlando. And then when they go out to the car, Foxy's there, according to Keefe D.
Puffy gave Zip $1 million that was supposed to be handed over, and Zip ended up keeping it. And I remember when I interviewed TK Kirkland, who was actually roommates with Zip at one point. They were that close. He actually said, yeah.
The feds said that too.
He said that shit actually happened. Well, the story that has circulated was that after Tupac got killed, Puffy allegedly gave the money.
I heard
to Zip.
Yes.
And Zip was supposed to give the money to Keefe and them.
Yes.
But he never gave the money to him.
But thank God he never gave him the money, right? Think about it. If he gave the money, Puffy will be in prison now, money for hire, a murder for hire. So thank God. It's just a true story. I'm not saying yes or no, but if he would have gave them the money, it'd have been a murder for hire, and Puffy would be locked up.
Yeah, I said they said he's a dirty motherfucker.
Yeah, and he even said that, like, in retrospect, that was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to Puffy. By Zip stealing the money, now Puffy isn't connected to that shit. Or else it would have been like a murder for hire or something, you know what I'm saying? So the FBI told you that Zip kept that money as well.
They said Zip's a dirty motherfucker.
I mean, like I said, Zip had a history of ripping people off.
Yeah. He never ripped me off.
Well,
otherwise he wouldn't have.
Didn't he technically do? I mean, if he kept the money that supposedly.
True.
So actually, he ripped you off for $1 million.
Yeah.
It's important to make a distinction, though. A statement appearing in a book or being discussed publicly does not automatically establish that the events described actually occurred. Those details can be examined through the legal process, along with any other information that may be presented. The bigger picture. The enormous witness list has generated plenty of conversation, but the number of names alone doesn't tell us what will happen in court. Some individuals may potentially be called, others may never appear, and simply being mentioned in connection with a case doesn't establish that someone has personal knowledge of an event or that they will provide testimony. The real focus will ultimately be on the information and evidence that the court allows to be presented during the proceedings. For people following the history of Tupac death row records and the Las Vegas events of 1996, the case remains one of the most closely watched chapters in hip-hop history. We'll continue following the developments and breaking down the history behind the story. Subscribe for more independent media, hip-hop history, and case coverage.